yeah. It's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's the half hour horror with me, Aaron McLean, and my co-host as usual. Oh, hey, it's Chase. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Aaron? Change of scenery, as I can see.
Yeah, welcome to the Residence Inn, Denham, Massachusetts. I am rocking it here in Boston, working on Dead City season 2, which is going awesome so far. But I'm living at a hotel, which is always different. It's kind of I miss my family, but we're making it work. Gotta make that money. Um, but since I've been here, it's been nothing but problems. And we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But today we are going to be as spoiler free as possible. As spoiler free as that's funny. We're going to be talking about weapons and Alien Earth, two things that came out very recently that were so good and super awesome, and I was able to see both of them. Um, trying to watch pirated TV in a hotel room is such a pain in the ass too. So I all hotel rooms have a box on the back of the TV, right? And that's to prevent you from watching what you want to watch and only have access to their channels. Well, I brought my Apple TV and thanks Reddit, bypassed their box. But trying to watch Alien Earth, the quality kept dipping to like garbage pixels, like 1992 internet, and it was just like I think there's an alien there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm watching right now. So I need to go back and rewatch it now that I've figured out some of the internet issues and see what's going on. I know you were watching it because we were chatting a little bit. What was your initial impression? How were you feeling about it? Are you excited to see more?
Yeah. So again, with television shows, I usually don't judge them based on the first couple of episodes. Because again, when it comes to television and watching a film, completely different structure. As you know, you yourself, you're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just a viewer. Because with film, they have anywhere between 85 to sometimes, depending on the director, 3.5 hours to get a full structured story across.
Yeah.
With television, that's spanned across, depending, whether it's network TV or cable or streaming. If it's network, could be anywhere between like 20 to 24 episodes for a season. Streaming cable, it's usually like 6 to 10 to 12, kind of like something like that. Yeah. So I usually don't try to judge a show based on the first episode, just because I know it's more of a slow build. But overall, I was interested. I think they're doing a really good thing. It kind of takes everything you really love about the first two films, but it also has kind of going into like the tech and how the synthetics are made and kind of the science, kind of like how the stuff I enjoyed about Prometheus. But overall, yeah, Timothy Olyphant, holy
Great.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, what a cool character. I mean, Timothy Olyphant has always been a cool dude. Even in movies that, like the Hitman movie, which is arguably not a good Hitman movie, but Timothy Olyphant was cool as hell in that movie. Yeah, I love the synthetic thing because, this is an aspect of Alien that they always want to like explore the aliens and mess with the aliens, which is important. And the show does that, but it's finally getting into why do we have these synthetics? What's with these robots? What is the purpose of them? How are they feeling? And they touched on that in like Prometheus, and David was one of the most interesting characters, but what they did with him in Covenant kind of messed that, in my opinion, is kind of messed up what they were what the groundwork that they're laying. And this show kind of goes, no, we can improve on that. The thing I found myself in this funny spot, watching the show with such anxiety. And somebody's like, what do you mean? I said, well, here's a good analogy. I got a little tattoo. It's a bee. When you get a tattoo, your first tattoo, at first you're like, is it going to hurt? I'm worried. I'm nervous. I hope it doesn't start hurting. And then they do it and you go, oh, that wasn't so bad. That actually isn't too bad at all. Actually, I want another one. Give me more of that. And watching this was like getting a tattoo, where the whole time I was like, oh God, is it going to start sucking? Are they going to do something stupid? Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like what they're about to. I was so nervous that they were going to fuck it up. And there were multiple times that I was like, oh, Mad Aaron doesn't like that. But then they would do something cool and I'd be like, oh, okay. All right. I guess that's okay. I guess that's going to be all right. And then by the end, I was like, oh, sweet. There's a I didn't know there was a second episode. You told me.
Yeah. Because what was it? We started around the same time. Yeah. I think you might have started it a little bit earlier than I did. But I remember it was like after me and my partner finished the first 2 episodes, I kind of gave you, I was like, yeah, really dug the first 2 episodes. And your response was, wait. There's 2.
So yeah, I was excited about 2. I was really happy to get more out of it, and it was very interesting. I love our main character. I like what they're doing. You can definitely see that Disney owns the franchise now.
Yeah.
There's some Disney references to it that they're like, hey, we're gonna throw Peter Pan in here, and you're like, oh boy, oh boy, oh here we go.
I think they own Madagascar now or something. It was some
Ice Age.
Ice Age. Yeah. I get those 2 mixed up. They were showing Ice Age.
That's one of the few times I was like, oh God, don't. Okay, just get past it. Whatever you're doing, just get past. Don't Ice Age. I don't need Ice Age to be canon. But the Xenomorph was cool. We got some. And we got some new aliens. Like, we're seeing new creatures, which was promised in the trailer. It's not a spoiler. New aliens, which are exciting, and that's cool. I'm excited to see where they go with that. I like the characters that we're introduced with. I like that we have synthetics. We have like spaceship haunted house stuff.
Hybrids.
Yes, and we have Marines. Brat brat.
Yeah, and again, it's. Some of it, again, I think it's listed in the synopsis of it, but the main character, her character, it's a tech company that basically creates adult synthetics, but they want to kind of take the mind of people and put them in the synthetics. Yeah. And they're experimenting with terminally ill children. So it's kind of neat to see the kind of group of hybrids kind of have these adult bodies, adult looks portrayed by adult actors, but they have kind of the mind and kind of the innocence of a child where they're still trying to figure things out, learn things. I think and I kind of like how they're kind of building the head of this tech company is kind of going to be like the human big bad. I joked this isn't taken away from his ability as an actor. He did really good on the series, but I joked, said he's kind of great value Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, no, they were like, can we get Timmy? And they're like, no, he's a huge star. And they're like, can we get someone who looks like Timmy? And they're like, got you, fam. And they did bring out budget Timothée Chalamet. He did fine. He was a good actor, but he was good. He had the hair, he had the look. It was funny.
Yeah, again, it was just like, we need a curly, dark-haired, skinny white boy who looks like Timothée Chalamet, and they just sort of looks like Timothée Chalamet, and they just bring him out.
Nailed it. Yeah, that is a good casting director when you're like, I can't get you the A-lister that you want, but I could get you someone who looks like him. And luckily he can act. He did
he's really good.
He did a great job. So far impressed with their ability to merge the styles of like the 1970s Alien, but somehow making it futuristic to our time. This doesn't take place in the 70s. This takes place in the future, and kind of marrying some of that timeline together and explaining it, which is hard to do. And it's hard to do in a way that I think I'm going to be okay with, but hats off to their ability to say, yeah, our 2022, our 2025 existed in the Alien universe. It just looks like it's from the 70s, and they do a great job of the spaceships and all the space stuff and all the Marine stuff still has that 70s vibe, 80s vibe, but like in the fancy parts of the town, it has a more like Prometheus vibe with the
Yeah.
LED screens and the fancy stuff happening. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's something, again, I mentioned it last week on our Alien episode, by the way, to our viewers, if you hadn't checked that out. It's on YouTube.
Yes.
Watch anytime. We had a blast talking with my producer Mike. So one thing that I mentioned last week that something you brought up in your Prometheus Launchpad podcast episode. By the way, listen to Launchpad Pod.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned it's kind of with Prometheus, where Prometheus and Alien Covenant are taking place before the original 1979 Alien, but it has the Star Wars prequel trilogy problem where the technology looks so far advanced. The spaceship looks much more advanced. And I liked that they did that because, again, the technology on the spaceship looked very similar to how the spaceship technology looked from the original film.
Yep.
But again, like you said, when you get to the kind of the bigger city, the more posh city with like the tech company and everything, it kind of has a Prometheus look to it. So I kind of liked how they kind of meshed that.
Trying to bring it all together. One of the things that's interesting is Romulus was filming kind of at the same time that they were filming this. So you don't have the benefit of having Romulus come out and you being able to go, oh, I like what they did there. I want to incorporate that or have a nod to that. So it'll be interesting to see if Romulus fits into this well, or if there's, because they didn't have the benefit of like sharing their vision, if they bump into each other in a way. So we'll see. We got to see some new technology from, stuff that we had already seen, which I always love it. Like expanding on weapons is always interesting. Predator can do that really well. And like we saw a net gun in this. I was like, that's cool. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. I am very excited. When do more episodes drop? Do you know?
I think every Tuesday
nights.
Literally Tuesday nights. Okay. I was about to turn on my TV and see. I don't have my Apple TV remote with me, but I think it's Tuesday nights is when. Let me look while you're looking too.
When do new episodes? Every week on Tuesday. Yeah, every Tuesday night. There we go.
On Hulu.
Yep, I was watching on Hulu. Super excited. What's up, Karen? What's up, Craft Witch?
Hey guys,
welcome to Saturday. So yeah, Alien Earth was a good outing. It's a good beginning. Let's keep it going. Please stay good. Like it's, I am so easily triggered by the Alien universe, and people are like, "Did you like it?" And I was like, "It didn't piss me off," and I think that's the best they could have done. And I'll give it another watch and like keep going. So we'll see how it goes.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember last year when Alien Romulus came out, because we actually did an Alien episode. This on Half Hour Horror. This was back when we were on only on X Spaces before we became the video stream that you see now. And it was Yumi and Mike talking about it. We talked about the franchise and talked about Alien Romulus. And I remember we all went and saw Alien Romulus that opening Thursday.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And we were all messaging to each other in a group. And I remember me and Mike were like, oh, that's awesome. This was so awesome. It was so great. And you were like,
Again, Prometheus wounded me. I was so wounded by that Prometheus and Covenant in a such a silly way, but at the same time, like, hey, look, what's important to you. So I'm excited. I'm excited that Alien Earth is doing something interesting, going in telling a new story that fits its own space. So far, it's a classic Xenomorph story, and I'm here for it. So, and I like how how I think they're going to explain away the some of the disparity between the timelines. And if they do what I think they're doing, which is the corporation that now has the Xenomorph is hiding it, then we'll be okay. You know, we can still have the alien be the first time they meet it.
I read a theory that is that the popular theory is right now it's that they're kind of trying to get rid of Prometheus and Alien Covenant from the timeline.
Don't tease me with a good time.
So that's kind of a fan theory I've been reading, is that they kind of did away with Prometheus and Alien Covenant from the main timeline. So okay. We'll see. I mean, I wasn't as negative on Prometheus as you were. Like I said last week, I think Prometheus is a really good sci-fi action film, but as an alien film, not. No, I mean, there's several films like that where it's a part of a franchise where I say, oh, it's a good such and such film, but a terrible film.
It's a bad entry to the franchise, but a good genre film in its own right. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that for sure. It's a good rendition of At the Mountains of Madness.
but like Alien Covenant though, I just don't like that film.
Oh yeah, that's a bummer. This week I saw a couple of things. The day I landed in Boston, I went to a 10:00 screening of Weapons. And I got in an altercation.
How did that go?
I got in an altercation. Oh God, it was the worst cinema screening experience I've ever had in my life. It was packed with high school students. There were these guys in a row, and they had like a soundboard on their phone. It was like ding dong, bah, ha ha, and they kept doing it throughout the movie. And that was driving me nuts. But that wasn't the only thing that was happening. Like, I'm sitting in the back row, and the seats, when I bought the seats were empty. And I know people are sneaking in, coming up to the back row. And there's these like little girls in there smoking weed, just like toking up right in the theater. It's legal in Massachusetts, but like, how are you freshmen in high school? How old are you? You don't look old enough to be in here, let alone toking up.
Is it like, again, I don't know Massachusetts law. Is it legal to just smoke it out in the open, or is it like you have to be like, is it kind of like here, North Carolina, we have like liquor laws where, you know, you're allowed to drink it at home, or like a place, a business that sells it, but you're like, you just can't go to some place that doesn't sell it and just drink it out in the open, you know?
I think it's medicinal here, but I'm not 100% sure, but it's legal. It's definitely not legal to be smoking it in a movie theater while the movie's happening. So they were, vaping it, and it's like, all right, fine, whatever, but annoying. And then, but like the soundboard guys were going nuts, and they were yelling at the screen and laughing the whole time. And I finally lost it, and I went down there, and I was like, nobody wants to hear you talking through this. You guys need to be quiet. You guys need to be quiet. Really, serious. And they were like, okay, sorry. And I went back to my seat. They did it one more time. I said, that's it. Got up, walked out, got security. They came back in and said, all these guys out, and they kicked them out. And I was like, finally, I get to watch this movie. So I'm sitting down, but then the little girls are smoking weed. And then some guy comes in like hour and a half in and is like, you're in my seat. Not to me, to some other people. But it's like, there's 45 minutes left in this movie, and you're just showing up, and you're disrupting the whole place, getting in an argument with people about who's sitting in their seats. You weren't here. Oh, hey, what's up, KG?
Hey, how's it going, KG?
I went to see Weapons, and I got in an altercation with a bunch of high school students. If there was a newspaper article, it'd read, old man fights high school kids. So I get these kids kicked out because they're being jackasses. And like, the problem is they were laughing at every part of the movie, whether it's funny or not. So it ruined the whole damn thing. And then when I go outside, boom, lights spark up. There's that guy who crashed out on us, and they start chasing me in their Jeep. And I don't even want to wait around to find out if I can fight 16-year-olds. I take off running, and I'm old and fat, so I'm out of breath, and I'm running through this dark apartment complex. This is my first night in town. I don't even know where I am at. you know, you just find that strength to just keep going. And I can see them coming up the road. They're looking for me, and I'm running through the apartment complex, and I'm hiding in the bushes. And it's like I'm like doing my best Rambo impression. I got my knife in my teeth, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill these fuckers. I didn't have a knife, but then I run back to my hotel, and I get there, and the security guard there is like, dude, you look like you're out of breath. Are you okay? And I was like, I just got chased by a bunch of high school kids. And he's like, Jesus Christ, man, are you okay? And I was like, I don't, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. And he's like, you want to hit? And I was like, God damn it. I'm not against it, but I was like, it was just so annoying through the whole movie. These little kids smoking weed, these guys with their stupid soundboard being jackasses, and me getting fucking chased. Like, and it's like, yeah, that's the last thing I need to be on the front page. It's just me like got some kids in a chokehold and they're like getting kicked in the shins. So when people are like, what'd you think of Weapons? I was like, I don't know. I was so pissed through the whole damn thing that I don't Oh yeah. We pay way too much to put up with that. That was like a $50 night just to get there and get some popcorn and like
Oh my God.
It is hysterical now, but at the time I was so pissed. But I called my buddy Matt up. He's been on the show before, my other podcasting partner, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not used to running this much." He's like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever heard." He's like, "You didn't think you could?" He's like, "Could you have handled that any better?" And I was like, "No, I handled it perfectly. I told him to shut up.
Yeah.
I was the hero of the movie theater. Everybody was pissed at him already." And then there's the guy who crashed out on us.
Good Lord. No, it's a funny story, but like you won't believe how many stories I've heard where people have complained. Because again, going to the movies ain't cheap. It's not like the old days where it was a nickel, nickel a ticket. It's now depending on where you're at. I think like here where I'm at, it depends on like the time of day. If it's one of those reclining seats theaters, you can pay anywhere between like $12 to $15.
Yeah.
And that's not like IMAX or Dolby. That's like your standard. And then again, like you said, popcorn that fit, like, all that. So yeah, it really is disrespectful. And again, that people don't know how to act at the movies. And again, like I told you,
zero etiquette.
Yeah. And again, it's like I told you, it's why like there's an AMC that's probably about 10 minutes from me. And that's really, unless I'm going to IMAX or Dolby, that's the only one I go to. And it's because they have a very strict, no one under 18 allowed after 6 p.m. every day without an adult. They have that every day. Like there's a locally owned theater literally 2 minutes from my house. But every time I've gone at night or a certain time, there's always some asshole that doesn't know how to act. They bring their 2-year-old to a horror film and they're being loud and they don't want to calm them down. And I don't want to deal with it. So, I mean, I rarely go to that theater anymore because people don't know how to act.
I haven't had a good movie going experience in years. The last movie I saw in theater, I saw Alien Romulus, and that went okay. When I went and saw Dune 2, first of all, the seats were so cramped that my legs didn't fit, which was like, oh God, general seating. And then the guy who sits down next to me pulls out his backpack and he pulls out his fucking thermos and he unscrews it and he pours himself a goddamn bowl of soup. And he's sitting there through the whole Dune 2 just and he and his wife are just slurping soup. And he looks at me and goes, movie theater popcorn goes best with tomato soup. And I was like, I hate you so much. like that happened. Like there's always something that's going down. And I'm just like, I need to either find a movie theater that doesn't suck, or I just need to stop going. And lately it's been stop going. So yes, the question is, do I see Weapons again? What I saw I was into. I love that he messed with story structure, and I think he really needed to mess with story structure. Otherwise, it'd be very interesting when we do our spoilery review of Weapons.
Again, let's do that several months from
We'll
now.
do that later. It is a going
and
blind, but it's
yeah,
it's a cool way that he layers up the stories, and the spoilery part of it is it's the movie's broken up into different sections, and
yeah,
each section is a different character, and each character's
they're
story tells a little bit more of
yeah,
the story, but it all kind of starts at the same event. And I was like,
yeah,
that is cool. I liken it to a movie like Halloween 3, where it is so effing crazy, and the whole like reveal and twist, and as you get to the third act and you're like, what, that's so nuts. I love it. Barbarian, the same director did this with
yep.
Barbarian. He's on a roll. His next movie though
Resident Evil.
is Resident Evil, and I am like, ooh, okay, let's see, man, because that one has been effed up so many times. And it really shouldn't be that hard. And already he's like, oh, I'm not doing what the game is. And you're like, so are you doing Resident Evil? You're not doing Resident Evil.
He said it's going to be more Evil Dead 2 inspired, kind of, from what I saw.
We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, when we do our spoiler review or spoilery episode of Weapons, I want to get producer Mike, and I also want to get Patrick Mediate back on the show, because it was funny, because just like the last few weeks, like I talked with you about it, I talked with Mike, Patrick messaged me last night. I was like, it was so insane. Like,
yeah.
When we do that movie, when we do that spoilery episode about the movie, I want to get those two on. But again, I want to wait for a few months before we do that, because I want everyone to have a chance to see this. Because
the big question I ask, I love that we're getting movie villain. I'm trying to figure out how to make this not spoilery. When you have such an interesting movie villain that's so quirky and so weird, like Longlegs, like this character in this movie, it's really interesting. I think this one is one for the ages. I think Weapons has a villain that is absolutely one for the ages, that you're like, I hope we don't ruin it with too many sequels that over explain what she is. And they're already talking about like, oh, we're going to get an origin story and we're going to get a prequel. And it's like, I don't know if you need all that, but I loved this character and the actress who played this character. And, it has Blair Witch vibes. It has, just really cool stuff. Pied Piper shit. I love it.
She was absolutely phenomenal. Again, I'm not going to go too detailed into her, but yeah, she was one definitely for the ages.
I use that in a colloquial sense. I don't know. I'm not going to gender her.
Yeah. But thankfully my theater experience was not bad. It was actually really good. But again, me and my partner, we wanted to go to the first show available, that opening Thursday, where, again, we knew it was going to be one of those that was highly anticipated. And we knew with the vague marketing and everything, we knew some engagement hungry dickhead on TikTok or Twitter was going to start posting videos and pictures from that they took at the fucking movie. So we went like, okay, we'll go immediately after work. So we went to like a 5:30 show, and we both got off work from our respective jobs, rushed, got ready, got in the car, hauled ass to the theater, went to a 5:30 IMAX show. And yeah, I had a great experience, because thankfully, again, pretty much everyone there was an adult, thankfully. So, but again, they were interacting with the movie, but it wasn't like you said, like soundboard, like stuff like that. It was kind of laughing or, ooh, oh, kind of stuff like that.
And look, I have no problem with people being like into the movie. And like there certainly were moments where people went, "What the what?" It's like,
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's fun. But when you're there to make it about you, to make you the centerpiece, to make the joke about you,
Yeah.
and not make it about the experience that we're having with the movie theater, when you are taking away from your interaction with the screen, so now it is an interaction with them. It's like that's bullshit. And
Yeah.
I I
Yeah.
I I honestly do blame social media because I think that gives everybody this sort of blanket license to think that they can be the center of attention at all times. But
Yeah.
what the internet does is it gives you anonymity. You can be anonymous. They did not expect a 40-year-old curmudgeony old man to run down there and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Shut the fuck up."
It, yeah, I mean, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. It's not like you were being an old dickhead. I
No,
mean,
no, and I
I
didn't even do it that harsh. I just was like, "Guys, you
see,
need to
like,
be quiet."
like with me, I would have just gone straight to a manager. But,
Yeah,
but again, like, again, you didn't know because I've heard stories where stuff like that happened at theaters, and they took the approach that I would have taken, went straight to an employee or a manager,
yeah.
and they said the manager or employee acted like they didn't even give a shit and wouldn't do anything. And again, I think probably, you know, what you did was probably the best response because again, you didn't know like if the theater employee would be like, whatever, man, I only get paid minimum wage.
Yeah, they handled it. They handled it right away.
Yeah.
But like usually if there's a problem, because like I don't know, there's this whole thing where it's like if your neighbors are having a loud party, you should ask them to be quiet before calling the police. Man, in LA, that gets you shot. In Atlanta, that gets you shot.
Where I'm at, that gets you shot.
That gets you shot. So when they're like, "Oh, we like," you know, I have always been of the idea like, well, let's try to handle it like adults first.
Yeah, yeah.
But now I'm at the point where it's like, man, people don't have the etiquette. People don't behave like adults anymore,
Mm.
and they don't have the maturity. They're gonna bucket you, and it's just like, all right, well, the last thing I want to do is go and involve other people. But it's like, well, if that's what it is, now I've learned my lesson, especially with teenagers, man. Whew,
Again, it's kind of one of those things. Again, a lot of teenagers are very unapologetic. They've been spoiled, kind of haven't been really taught, you know, kind of have the iPad thrown in front of them kind of thing. And, you know, they don't know how to handle stuff like that. And,
my wife said, yeah.
Oh, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
My wife said this. She said, one of the issues is that teenagers don't have their own space. When I was a teenager, I had lots of unsupervised time. I could hop on my bike and go into town with my little brother, who was like 5 years younger than me. We were unsupervised in the woods, running into homeless people. Like we just would go anywhere. And nowadays, kids don't have unsupervised time. People are terrified about a kid like walking down the street to 7-Eleven. I walked miles into town to go to the comic book shop by myself to buy candy or like whatever. Never had a problem. And it's like nowadays people are so terrified about kids getting abducted, even though it's like super rare. But like my sister-in-law was like, yeah, but what if you're the parent that happens to? Like, wouldn't you feel stupid that you didn't take the precautions? I was like, yeah, but yes, I mean, I can't argue with that. But so these kids have no unsupervised time. So getting to go to the movies is like one of the only times they get to be like off the chain and let loose a little bit, and they let loose. And on one hand, I was like, yeah, I kind of get that. On the other hand, it's like, yeah, but you've ruined everybody else's $50 experience.
The theater's not the place to do that. I mean, if you're going to do that, I know the little trampoline parks is kind of like big now, I think.
Yeah, I went to one of those, and it was buck wild.
I'm 35 and I don't have any children, and nor will I ever have children. But so I don't know. I've never been to a trampoline park.
Yeah, they're wild, man. It's like bumping music and just like kids flying, because it's not just a trampoline park. They got like pulleys and stuff, so you can go zinging through the air. So you're walking through this place, and it's like it's it's like the Foot Clan's hideout at the beginning of Ninja Turtle 1. There's arcade games, trampolines, kids on skateboards, people flying through the air, loud music, and you're just like, man, this is cool. And like you take your kid and she's just jumping around having a good time, and then you're like, yeah, this looks like fun, and you go jump and your knees go, have you forgot how old you are? Stop this shit. And then the next day you're like, oh God, what? Oh my God, why are my knees so big? What happened? And your body's like, this is what you get for jumping on a trampoline in your 40s. Cut that shit out. And you're like, all right. But yeah, trampoline parks, thumbs up for me. But again, the kids can be hooligans there. I don't care.
Yeah,
like, that's the place to do it. Literally
again,
bounce off the walls.
Again, movie theaters are kind of where you're supposed to be quiet. You're there to sit down and pay attention to the movie. I told this story, I think, on the show before. There's a locally owned art house theater downtown in my city. And they mostly show kind of like Oscar bait and kind of independent movies, like
fancy.
Yeah, the cinephile stuff. But lately they've been doing a lot of older stuff. Like I think every Saturday now they do like a Stanley Kubrick film. So they've been showing those, or like a Alfred Hitchcock film on Saturday afternoons. And the last Friday of every month they show an old horror film, which last month was Creepshow, which I didn't go to. The month before that, I got to see the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in theaters, thanks to them. But Friday the 13th, June Friday the 13th, they showed the original Friday the 13th film from 1980 for its 45th anniversary. And I remember I went, and there was like a father and his two teens sitting kind of at the row behind me. And when the movie was starting, you could hear the teens talking. And then after a couple minutes, I hear the father go, I came here to watch the movie, not to hear y'all fucking talk. Now shut up.
And then they waited for him outside the movie theater. Jumped there.
And they were quiet the rest of the movie.
Damn.
So yeah, it's something. Actually, our friends at Wicked Horror Show, around the time the Minecraft movie came out, we were talking about it. Because again, you've seen all the viral videos online of them throwing popcorn, like throwing drinks and stuff,
going ballistic.
So when I was on there, we were talking about all those, and I had mentioned, because my very first job was at a movie theater. And again, this was 17 years ago. Yeah, that was my senior year in high school. Holy shit, I'm old. 17 years ago. And the theater's general manager was a retired Vietnam vet. And he was very adamant on theater etiquette. No bullshitting around. I seen him kick people out of theaters. And I said, like if that was going on when he was running a theater, he would have turned the movie off, turned the lights on, started screaming and cursing at everyone in there, and then kicked them all out without refunds.
Yes. That would have been, see, we need a little bit of that. It's wild. Since you mentioned Friday the 13th, I haven't seen it yet, but we have a new Jason Voorhees short that came out, an official Friday the 13th short. It's also a tie-in to Angry Orchard hard cider. So it's commercial, but it is an official Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees thing. And okay, it's out. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen you did? You watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
The kills were cool.
Hey, how about that?
The kills were cool. That's I'm gonna leave it at there because I don't want to anger any fan bases. But the kills were cool. I'm gonna wait it out because again, the way I like it was a 15-minute short, so okay. I'm not gonna judge an upcoming universe, which I know they're planning video games, movies, shows. They're planning a whole media franchise. I'm not going to judge any potential future shows or movies or video games or any other form of media based on a 15-minute short. But all I have to say is really the kills were cool. That's
I want to get more Jason, but like the fact that it was like it's a commercial, and I was kind of like I don't know if I like that even on in its own right. So we'll see. Yeah, I really want more. I hope we get another video game in the line of what the one we had, because that was awesome. I hope we get more toys because I need to complete my NECA collection. I've been getting to do some fun stuff. So I do some toy customization, and there was this 2-pack of Jack and David from American Werewolf in London. And Jack came as a normal human, and then like him in his rotten form, but he didn't come in his fresh bloody form. And I was like, I got to fix that. So I bought a second set, and I modded him to look all bloody and tore up. And it was awesome.
Nice.
And then people were like, oh, will you do that for me? And so they sent me their toy, and I've done 2 more of them. And my payment was like, give me your David. Give me the other character in the 2-pack. And they're like, all right. So now I have all these Davids, and I've been saying like extra David's getting paled. And so in my Jason Voorhees shelf, it's Jason Voorhees with like a pitchfork and David's on it. And it's Jason Voorhees with the machete, and it's embedded halfway into David's head. Me and a heat knife. Me and the heat knife go crazy. So I got him like his head's bisected, his hands like split down to here, and just like any injury I can come up with, I'm like a little heat knife, beep, boop, beep, boop, jamming the pitchfork in there, you know, the big fence post through them. And I have these Davids, dead Davids all over my Friday the 13th section.
That is awesome. And you know what? You're braver than I am, because I'm way too scared to customize my NECA.
If you have an extra
action figures,
well, that's why I had to buy more. And that was annoying, but at the same time, like one of my other customizes I did was a Predator. I took a Predator toy and
that one's awesome,
a T800, and modded them together. So it's like a blown apart Predator with T800 Terminator pieces underneath. That one's really cool. I did some Ninja Turtle ones to do like a movie version. Yeah, I hope we get there. Yeah, if I can do more of these customs.
See, I'm just way too. See, even when my partner wants to like customize something like something we got in a collection, I'm like behind. I'm like,
what are you doing? What are you gonna do?
Like, that's too short. That's too short. That's why he tries to do it when I'm not home. Like this Chucky doll behind me.
Oh yeah, Santa Chucky. I love that.
Which is from the 2nd season of the show, but it's a Trick or Treat Studio stuffed Chucky. But like they have it to where, because the hair on the Trick or Treat Studio Chucky dolls are never right.
Oh,
so. Yeah, that's usually sometimes too short, too long. So with this one, they did with the stuff one, they basically left the hair down to here. They didn't even like try to cut it or anything. They're like, oh, if you want to custom cut it. And he had gotten this. I was at work. He was off that day, and he was like, oh yeah, let me cut this real quick before Chase gets home.
See, that would scare me. I'd be so freaked out, man. But yeah, like that one, that absolutely cutting hair. Yeah. It's one thing to like do a paint job. It's one thing to do something like that, but like to do a whole, yeah, that would make me nervous. All right. I think here we go. There's my custom David.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, they did not come with this bloody version. So I tore his face up. I did the whole like Matcheroony, and then the extra Davids getting paled.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I got a little stand holding them up off the ground. Extra Davids getting impaled. KG showed up a little late. We started with Alien Earth, and I said it was like getting a tattoo. The whole time I was like, oh, is it about to hurt? Is it going to hurt? Oh, is it going to hurt? And then afterwards I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And I want another. So We're into
I
it.
said it was a pretty good start.
Yeah. Absolutely a good start. Good characters, Timothy Oliphant, banging. Um, Interesting things, but there was some moments that got me very nervous, and then some moments that I was like, hell yeah, Alien, you're back, baby. I really did like the Xenomorph stuff, and I think the characters are cool. I think the premise is good. I'm just I'm just very very nervous.
Also, I'm happy to see the actor that plays the lead's brother that's in the military, I think Lothar or
Yeah.
Lowther. Yeah, I'm happy to see him in a show again.
What was
I
he in?
used to, so he was on the show that ran for 2 seasons, called End of the Fucking World on Netflix. It was a kind of a British dark comedy drama. It's based off a graphic novel,
Okay.
but it was only supposed to run for 1 season. And they said, like, basically the first season, because there's only one graphic novel, and they said basically the 1 season covers everything that's in the original graphic novel. But because, like, the graphic novel, it ends on a cliffhanger, and it was so popular, they just did a second season just to finish the story. And I thought he was absolutely phenomenal in that. So yeah, it was cool to see him in that, and in a big show like Alien. So yeah, I love to see it.
I got one more here. There's the other. All David's mustache.
Oh, that's
yeah,
very nice.
It is absolutely building to something big, and if they land this ship better than the ship landed in the show, I think we're off to a good start.
KG
awesome.
missed our budget Timothy Chalamet joke too.
Yes. What's the name? What's the guy's name? Kid Cudi? No, Kid.
Or I think it's Boy. I think.
Boy Genius. Whatever his name is, they're
Cavalier.
Boy Cavalier, yeah. Kid Cudi. Boy Cavalier is a budget Timmy Chalamet. He was a good actor. We're not knocking him there, but
no, good actor. I really enjoyed him.
But you can absolutely tell that their casting director was like, you want Timothy Chalamet? Like, yeah, can you get him? They're like, no, but I got the second best thing.
No, he's too busy getting Oscar nominations for playing Bob Dylan.
Yeah, right. I think it's funny, like when you are a connoisseur of like shitty movies, the straight to TV, straight to DVD, there's some movies that their entire cast is budget this guy, and you're like, wait. How do you have budget Sam Jackson, budget John Travolta, budget Pam Anderson, all in the same movie at the same time? What am I watching right now? And like, it's so funny when a movie is just completely comprised of a budget lookalike cast.
We had talked about that in our Final Destination episode with Christopher Carlson when we were chatting with him about the Final Destination films. Yeah. Final Destination 5. You said the budget Tom Cruise, and the funny thing is he has played a parody of Tom Cruise in numerous projects.
Absolutely hysterical. Yeah. I love the budget characters from time to time.
Or Child's Play 3, the budget teenage Arlie Ermy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that they were like, here, watch Full Metal Jacket. That's your character, and he's like,
just copy what he's doing. Which actually, I watched. We'll talk a little bit more if we ever do a Chucky episode. Wink, wink. So I watched a 5-hour documentary on Shudder called Doc of Chucky. And they talked about the third one, and they talked with that actor. And after, before I used to make fun of his role, but after watching that and explaining kind of what him and Don Mancini kind of were bouncing around, what they were trying to go for, and some kind of subtle things, kind of nods, kind of, but I kind of have a little bit more respect for his performance. Actually, a lot more respect for it. So
yeah, you know, it's always hard when you're a kid. You know,
yeah,
I don't think they get enough credit for even just putting it out there.
yeah.
I always feel bad when the internet crucifies them. It's just a
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
But yeah, this is fun. In a few months, we will come back and redo Weapons, and we will continue to talk about Alien Earth as more episodes come up. And definitely when we finish the season, we will do a big deep dive into what's going on there. We do have some fun episodes coming up next month. Wink, wink. And yeah, I'm out in Massachusetts now making a TV show. So from the hotel room for the but plugs, hey, let's do it.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you everyone for joy who watched us today, and thank you. Very active chat today, which is awesome. So yeah, and then of course see me here every Saturday with you, Aaron, on Half Hour of Horror. You can follow my socials at Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, and X at OhHChase, and TikTok at OhHChase_.
Absolutely. We got to give away some blood coin. The keyword today, weapons, with an over accentuated weapons is weapons. The movie that I got chased out of. Yeah, so that's the one. And yeah, I do hope that with enough time I can rewatch this and be like, oh yeah, that was actually as good as I thought it was, or not ruined by some teenagers. So yeah, go to Block of Horror, open up a ticket, type in the word weapons, and get you some blood coin. You can follow me on Facebook, or well, I guess I'm just on Instagram at McLean and Abel, and my other show, the Launchpad Podcast, on all things at Launchpad Pod. And then of course, I just re-released our Prometheus commentary that you can sync up with Prometheus to hear me bitch about Prometheus some more. And of course, here on Saturdays, all things Block of Horror on all the socials. And then, of course, our virtual world in Portals. So till next time, we're out.